We'll begin from what is most commonly used in, I think, in square baskets in general, which is behind two rod borders, but preferably 4 and above rod border. You wouldn't see a 3 rod border used for square baskets very often, I think. So here I began a 5 rod border, and I think 5 rod border gives a much neater corner than a 4. So this is what I'm going to show, but what I show here actually applies to all rod borders, all behind 2 rod borders. So as you can see, I began a 5 rod behind 2 border, and now I have all 5. You want to have 5 weavers put down before you get to the corner. So now when you get to the corner, this is where the change begins. This weaver should get in here, and it does. And now this upright should go alongside with it behind 2. Like that, and it does. But this last upright here near the corner post actually joins these 2 right here. It goes behind 1 instead of going behind 2, because if it were to go behind 2, then it would go here and it will be too much inside the basket, and we don't want that. So what actually happens here is that this upright here is going underneath his partner here, and this last upright becomes this one's partner. If we can get them into this tight squeeze. So now that we've done that, this upright here is laying beneath those 2, and what happens here is that we are kinking it. We are holding them tightly like that and kinking it upwards to make a false stake here. This upright becomes a false stake. So let's see that again. What happens when we get to the corner? This one weaves in normally, you might say, although you can also, before you do that, you can actually take the second one and it will be more comfortable to do. And then this one is woven regularly, and the last one near the corner post joins it behind 1 instead of going behind 2, which will get too much into the basket. And then this second one from the corner post becomes a false stake here. So now this is the first aspect, the first difference of making a square corner. What you do, you might say, on the inside here. This one goes behind 1 and the second one becomes a false stake. This is the first aspect. Now the second aspect, the second difference, is what happens on the outside here. I could go weave in a normal fashion, just like that, but that wouldn't give me that really square 90-degree angle that I want to get here. So there's also a change on the outside, and these 2 things are not interrelated. You can do like just this or just this. So what happens here is that we, instead of just weaving it regularly, we're beginning to kind of pile them up, beginning from the most left one to the most right. We're kind of piling them up, 1, 2, 3, and then the fourth one, the last one here, will climb above all of these. Now we want to take it a little bit to the left so that it will align with this line here, with this wall here, and we are kinking it like that, getting behind the first upright here. Now I'm not gonna just go around regularly because it will really demand too much of this upright here, so I'm getting to the inside, holding the upright in place, kinking it if I can, and going back outside. Now everything here becomes very bulky, so we might want to use our wrapping iron here. Alright, so once we've done the first one, we are continuing and piling the rest of them up, beginning from the most outer one to the most inner one, if you will. But here, this first one that we've weaved in doesn't have a partner. It stays on its own. So we're pulling it to the left a little bit, kinking it upwards. Alright. Now this second one has a partner, which is the false upright that we've created here. Joins it. As you can see, this one doesn't have a partner, but it will be, a weaver will treat it as one of the weavers, as you'll see it later on. So now we are continuing, going a little bit to the left, kinking, going in. Gaps are very, very small here. Now we are continuing, taking down the uprights, and this is the last one here. Alright, once we got the last one from the corner here, we can see our 5 weavers here and our 5 pairs here, and one of these pairs is really actually not a pair, it's a single. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pairs, and don't forget to weave that single one. It can be quite confusing. So this method of doing corners is, I think, absolutely brilliant. I don't know who thought of that and at what point, but it's just absolutely brilliant. So now we can continue weaving. I'll get the kink right. Now, that single one, don't forget it. I mean, naturally you would want to work with this one from the last pair here, but this is actually one of our weavers here. Alright, let's see another corner here, and then we're going to look at behind one rod borders. So, now, this one joins this one here. When you get to the corner here and you have to go here, usually what you'll do is go behind the corner post here, put your finger here, and then go out and kinking it upon this upright here. Because if you just kind of go around this stake here, you'll kind of demand too much of it and it will want to go outside. So now we get to the corner again, and as I said earlier, I would prefer to begin with this second stake and then weave and take down the last upright here behind one, if you can remember. Now holding them tightly and kinking that one upwards to make a false stake. It's really as if we just kind of inserted a false stake right near the corner post right here. So I'm laying it upon this the rest of the stakes here, and now we can do the outer side here. So we are holding the last pair here. Before we didn't have pairs yet, now we have pairs, and we are beginning to kind of pile them on. So we have 1, 2, 3, and then the fourth one is going above them. Now this is the same for every rod board. Doesn't matter if it's a 5, 6, 7, 4. You're just piling them all up until you get to the last one. So we want to kind of kink it exactly, aligning with this row here, with this wall here. So pulling it a little bit to the left. Now, as we said earlier, we're first going to the inside. First going to the inside, holding everything in position, holding that stake in place. Oh, it's really thick, that one. Alright, and this one doesn't have a partner. Now, next one. And the second one does have a partner, which is the false stake that we've created here. Continuing. Now, last one here. And now we've finished our corner, and you can see how beautiful that looks. We get that 90-degree angle here. This is what makes square baskets really nice and square. And now we can see our 5 pairs again. 1, 2, 3, single one, and another pair. And when you're continuing the border, don't forget that single one. I wanted to show what it looks like when you do a behind one rod border. So I just kind of left one stake standing here, and then I turned this into a behind one 5 rod border. You can see the difference here. And actually, behind one rod borders, you might say are simpler, although the problem might be that when the willow is quite thick here, it will be more difficult to go behind one. So, and also I think generally behind 2 rod borders looks better than behind one. But I will show also what that looks like. So one thing that you can do is to take another upright and insert it right here, and that's it. The rest is completely the same. You're just doing a 5 rod border regularly, instead of course the outside here, which you in which you create that 90-degree angle, and that's that. And I think I don't even need to show it. I mean, this upright here actually goes behind one as it should be, so we don't have a problem here on the inside. There's nothing special that we need to do. So that's one option. Another thing that you can do, I don't know if it looks as good, but you can do it. Let's say if you don't have, for some reason, if you don't have any more material, so you can go behind. Wait a minute. You can actually go behind two here, like that, just like we did before, and then leaving that last weaver here, last one of the row here, alone. It doesn't have a partner. And then just kinking it upwards to make a false stake, and then continuing the same. And then when you get to when you make the first weave here, you're just weaving that false one behind one, and then you are continuing your behind one rod border. So that's simple enough. I will talk just about a plait board of 3 here, because I actually think plait borders looks better in covered corner posts. So I'm going to do the rest of plait border exploring in part 2, which will be covered corner posts. And now I'm going to show a plait border of 3 here, but actually before that I want to talk a little bit about a behind 3 rod border. We talked about behind 2 rod borders and behind 1, but what happens when you want to make a behind 3 rod border? So actually I've been kind of playing around with this a little bit, and I tried a bunch of different things, and I think I got an acceptable result, but it's not something that I'm going to show here. I actually think if you kind of understand the principles of how to make a square corners on behind 2 rod borders, you'll figure something out. So I'm not going to show it because I didn't get to a result that I feel completely comfortable with. Okay, so I got my 3 extra stakes here and 2 sticks, and I'm going to start my plait board of 3 here. So that's 1. Alright, now we're almost to the corner. Let's move this one here so it wouldn't be in our way. Now this one gets in as it should, like that. And I got a lot of kinks here from before when I was doing the rod borders, so don't mind them. Maybe you can fix this. Fine, I guess. So now this one goes in, this one goes out. Wow, tight fit. Talk about a tight fit. Oops. I really want to fix that. So now this is where the change begins. Obviously this one joins in here. Sorry, camera. And now this is actually, I think this is actually simpler to explain. This one is the next, this pair is the next to weave. So it should go over this and to the inside here. Then this one comes out above it. This would be the regular way to weave it, but this would make for a very nice corner. So what we're doing here is we're just kind of, as before with the piling up, we're just kind of holding that pair above that pair, the next pair, and the next pair is going to climb above it and get inside. This is the difference. Now, there are two ways to do it. The first way is to fold them, actually fold them like that. See, they are folded, and get them in. Now, once we got them in, if we can, we'll get the next pair out, if we can, and I think we've done it. Everything is really tight here. So that will be one way, the folded way. And when we get to the next corner, I will show another way, which is the curved way. So now we folded these two, so it makes sense to also fold these two. So instead of going in like this, they are kind of folded, kind of switch places. See? Tight fit. And this makes for a neater corner. So this one just gets inside here. And now we're going to look at the folded method. So we are piling that left pair above the right pair here, like that, and we are going to kind of curve around it and get inside. Get inside here. Oh, and we forgot this one. No. How could we have done this? Once again. Curving. It's completely kinked where you don't want it to be. Get inside here. Alright. And now, since we've curved the first one, then it makes sense to continue curving the second one or just weaving regularly. So that will be the second way to do it. This is the curved method, and this is here the folded method. Okay, so now we are looking at covered corner posts, and you can you should cut them at the same height of the wailing, leveling with the wailing. What I did here is I actually weaved 2 more rows and I got to the ends here, and this works pretty much the same, except you add an extra stake which is sliped really nicely, and it's added to the outer side here. That shouldn't come out. Alright. Now this one is something to lean upon. Just like we did before, exactly the same, except that instead of a corner post we have a stake here. One, two, three, and fourth one climbing above here. In here, and it's by itself, it doesn't have a partner here. The next one comes in, this thing becomes too bulky here, and now that extra stake here, that new stake here, is joining the second one. Just continue here. Now this one, okay, now you see we have 3 here instead of 2. As we said, this upright here from the second one from the corner post is just going down behind 2. That's all it does, and it's trimmed right here. So this is our last pair here, and this one is woven regularly, and now we have our single one. Don't forget that single one, it can be quite confusing. I mean, you're going for the last pair always, so you can go to this last pair and forget this one, and that's it. Okay, so now let's see what it looks like if we do a behind one rod border. So I left this one, I will leave this one here, and I will actually turn this border into a behind one 5 rod border, just to see how that's done. And actually it's just kind of, you might say it's just done in the regular way. There's nothing special about it. I've added an extra stake here, and I think the rest is completely the same here. Okay, so now we got to the corner, and I think we can just continue like a regular border. There's nothing special about this. There are no changes from any regular behind one rod border. This one is woven here, this one joins it. Why doesn't it kink? This one joins it. Of course, the outer side here is different, but the inner side is exactly the same. and this one goes behind one. Here there's no single one, every upright has a partner. Sorry. Just continue here. Need to dry up here. All right. As you can see, everything is done the same except from the other side here. I didn't get it very nicely here. Looks quite terrible, but that would be a behind one rod border covering the corner post. So far, we only looked at plait border of 3 in exposed corner posts. Now I began a plait border of 4 here, but I want to talk about also a plait border of 3 before I show this plait border of 4. It actually works exactly the same with a very small difference, and which is where you put the extra stake. Before we put it here so that it will go to the outside because the corner post was exposed. Now we want to cover it, so we are putting the extra stake here. That's it. That's all the difference. So now let's look at this plait border 4, and it actually works a lot like plait border of 3. Actually, I would say it's exactly the same. This is a plait border 4 that goes behind 1, over 3 and behind 1. And this will also apply to a plait border 5 that goes over 4 and behind 1, I guess to all plait borders that goes behind 1. So, continuing here, this one gets in, and this one gets out through this tight fit. And now, instead of taking these and just weaving regularly in here, once again we will piling them up, 1, 2, and then the last pair here will either curve above them or kind of bend above them. So I think we should try kind of bending it over, just like that. This is a new upright that we added. Let's try really covering that corner post here if we can. Not really, not completely covered. Now we will continue. Will I curve the next one, or will I kind of bend it over? I don't know. Let's try it this way. looks better. And basically that's it. That's the whole corner. Now I think let's go on here and try curving that that first one instead of kind of bending it over the rest. So we got to the next corner, and let's get our extra stake here. If you want to cover the corner post, you put it in the left side so that it will cover it. Now this one goes in, this goes out. Ooh, tight fit. Now we'll try curving instead of like folding over. So first we will pile them up. If we can, I need a weight here. Piling those two up, and then the third one we'll try to curve over them instead of folding it. Something like that. This really ugly kinks here. It's kind of annoying. Well, let's just go on here. Go on one more step here and see how that corner looks like. I think it looks better than the other corner. This is the folded, the curved corner, and this is the folded corner. So we've talked about plait borders that goes behind one upright, but what happens when you want to make a plait border that goes behind two? And actually I couldn't find an example for this anywhere, and I tried a bunch of different things. I'm not sure I have something that I'm completely satisfied with, but I'll try to show at least one of these things that I've tried and to explain why this is rather problematic. So first thing we want to do is to add an extra stake here. Now we're getting in if we can. In out behind two here. And now these two can go behind two like that, and it can be fine. I mean, you can still get that square looking corner on the outside, and then on the inside you will have the rim will slightly get into the basket more than you want it to, but that's one option. But assuming that you don't want to do that, I would actually, first of all, let's do the corner here. Actually, before we do the corner, I would actually take this one out. This is one of the solutions that I've tried. and then pile the others on top of this one instead of this one. So something like that. One. And now I would fold it over, or rather curve it over if I can. Like this. And the next one will also get into the same space. This is kind of difficult to do. This is one of the things that I've tried. And now this last one here wouldn't go behind 2 because that would get us too much into the basket. And I guess that's fine. I guess it could be done. I mean, there are a number of things that can be done here, but let's just try this one. Going behind 1 here. And now we'll just continue here. This one goes in. And now, since we have these 2 pairs here, one of them will go behind 1, like this. And then the next one will go behind 2. Let's check here. And then we are continuing our behind 2 plait border. Got here. I don't know if it looks that good. No, probably not. Let's try something else. Now I've opened this up, and let's see how it looks when you actually go behind 2 here. So making the corner here. The willow is already kinked, so it doesn't look great. Going outside here. And now, next one. As I said, the willow is already kinked when you don't, right when you don't want it to be. Then going behind 2 here, and actually that might look better. It can look fine. I guess it kind of depends on how big the distances between these stakes here to the corner posts are. If they're too far apart, then it wouldn't look so good. But here it actually looks decent. Okay, so I tried once again going behind 2 here. I think this corner looks decent. I think it might be just okay to just go behind 2. It gives a better looking corner than my other solutions. Now, aside from regular plait borders, you can also just make side borders, in which case you will just take every upright behind the next one first, make a simple jack border, and then just make a plait border on the side, and there will be nothing special about the way you're making it. But I think the way to, you can look at it here, the way to add the uprights, if you were to make something like that, it would make more sense to me to add them right here, to just kind of open this gap up and add them right here instead of here or here, because that would give us that really beautiful square looking finish here. And I started a 5-rod border behind 2 here, which is probably what is most commonly used in square work, and I'm going to show how it's done. Now first, there is a change on the inside here. It's not the same as corner post. And second, on the outside here we have 2 options. We have what we did before. We can make that 90-degree angle on the outside, and we can actually make the corner blunt to make this small diagonal here. So we're going to look at both options. Now I'm doing a 5-rod border, but what I'm showing here applies to all rod borders. So the first change on the inside here is that this first weaver to get in the corner does not get outside here. It gets outside behind both corner stakes like this, and then these 2 last uprights here pair up to get inside in between the 2 corner stakes like this. Now let's do first the 90-degree angle. So we're doing like we did before, piling them up. This one gets inside, and where it gets out here, there already is another weaver, the one which went behind these 2, and that's fine. And now once we get out here, this first corner stake here goes together with it behind 1 like that. And now we are continuing, and once again we're going to have 1 weaver here that doesn't have a partner, so we're weaving that one, continuing, and only this next one is going to have a partner here. See, this one is on its own. Let's just go on here. Okay, so let's look at what we have here. First of all, in the corner here, this last upright before the corner, all it does is just goes down behind 1 like that, and it stays here. And then in the first gap here we have this pair, and besides this pair we also have that 1 weaver that went behind 2 instead of going behind 1. And in this space here there are going to be 2 weavers to trim, and that's how it's done. So let's look at the next corner, and we'll make the blunt corner this time. First weaver to get in the corner goes behind 2, then last 2 uprights pair up to get inside the corner like so, and now we'll see how to make the corner blunt. So what we do here really is just weaving as we normally would. This one gets in here. Now, we're not just kind of, I wouldn't just kind of weave it in. Instead, I would pay close attention to really get the kinks where I want them to be. So I really want to get a nice kink here upon this first corner stake before I do the weave. Because if I will just kind of weave without kinking and getting a round shape here, it wouldn't look so good. So now this one weaves in first, and first corner stake goes together with it behind just one. Now we're just weaving regularly, but making sure to get the kinks where we want them. So I actually artificially kinked with my fingernail here. First kink, second kink right here. And now, once again, this one wouldn't have a partner because this second corner stake has to go behind two, not behind one. Continuing, getting the kinks where we want them to be. Right, and now we are continuing. This one doesn't have a partner, and last one here. This doesn't look so good. Right. Now let's see what we got here. Oh no, I have a small break here. And look how beautiful that looks. I really, really love that look. Absolutely stunning. And I think this type of corners are more suitable to carrying baskets, because you don't want to carry a basket which has these sharp corners. This is my opinion. I'm just going to replace that one, and we'll continue here. Alright, first one to get to the corner. Now we're doing the same thing again. First one to get into the corner goes behind two. These two pair up, get in this corner space here. And now we're just going to make a blunt corner, making sure to kink the weavers just where you want them to be kinked. So first corner stake goes behind one. Now the next weaver doesn't have a partner. Right here. All right. let's look at that corner here. Really, really beautiful. Look at that. Absolutely stunning. So we've looked at behind two rod borders, making the 90-degree angle and making the blunt angle. And if you want to make a behind one rod border, that actually is incredibly simple. I mean, all you basically on the inside here, there are no changes to be made. You're just doing everything regularly, and then on the outside you can either do the blunt corner or the sharp corner, and that's that. Now, once again, behind three rod borders is something that I haven't really played with enough to really come to a conclusion. So if you have any idea how it's done, please share with me in the comments, but for now I will not talk about this subject. To make plate borders on blunt corners, I think it works exactly the same. They're actually you don't even have to make a change on the outside here, although it would give a slightly more square looking shape. So actually I've got to the corner here, and now I can just go in like this. Let's look at both options and just do it regularly, and don't mind all these extra kinks here. They are just from making rod borders before. Sorry. So this is just making a regular plate border, not making any change from just any regular basket. And this is what the corner looks like. Let's just finish the corner first and then see what it looks like. Kind of round. And now let's try. Actually, I'm going to show it in other. I think I'm not going to go on here. I'm going to now show behind two plate borders, which actually makes more sense, I think, in blunt corners than in corner posts. And then we are really going to see the changes on the outside here. So I started a plate border of 5 here that goes behind 2, and I think, as I said earlier, I think it makes more sense to make behind 2 plate borders in blunt corners than in corner posts, because the behind 2 here is this, and it looks more natural, and it's actually a more natural move that goes with this diagonal here than what you would get in corner post baskets, although as we've seen earlier, that's also fine, going behind 2 in corner post. So this one gets in first before it gets out here. The willow is completely kinked from making the rod borders before, so don't mind that. And now on the outside here, to get a more square look, we will pile them up. And that's it. The change is just on the outside, not on the inside. Now, this goes here behind 2. as it normally should. No changes are made. Next pair, and this is the one that's going behind 2 here in the corner. It looks really fine, I think. Which one goes next? These two. Everything is broken here. I've played around with it a lot, but I don't mind that now because it's just a demonstration. Right. Going to the next corner, we'll just look at it again. So, we are piling them up, and then after piling up we can either curve or fold the weavers. Let's try folding here. Alright. One is a little high here from before, from making the rod borders, but as I said, we're not going to mind that now. We're just going to continue. Actually, if we folded this one, it makes sense to fold these two as well. It's not very easy to make. Pair here. Should we fold this as well? I don't know. Okay, so what do we have here? This is a more folded corner, so a little broken here, but it's fine. And this was supposed to be a more curved corner, but it didn't come out so well. This looks better actually. So I tried another corner here, and I tried to make it really nice and curved, but the willow is already came from before, so I couldn't get that curve really nice, so it's hard to tell how it would look like having really nice curves. So this is supposed to be a curve, and this corner is supposed to be folded. These are folded, and also these are kind of folded, and hard to tell which is more suitable to this basket or to this border, but that's that.